Palestinians tell me that the hair on their arm stands when they see the flag coming from the bottom and they see it on top of the hill.
You can hardly miss it, 1,000 square feet of Palestinian pride. Among the dry West Bank hills, about 20 miles from Jerusalem,
This is the second phase. You can see
Bashar Masri is fed up waiting for the politicians to build a Palestinian state.
and we're in a hurry. I am in a hurry. Look at these apartments.
So this Palestinian-American businessman is building the first planned Palestinian city.
And I know most of my people are in a hurry. We would love to see a great nation for our kids and grandchildren, but we also want to see it for ourselves.
Masri has raised $1 billion to fund the biggest private investment in Palestinian history.
That's one big gamble for you.
It is a large gamble, definitely. However, if we, the Palestinians, don't take risks, then who's going to do that? And our nation will never be built.
The message, get on with it. Masri's city is becoming a fact. Rawabi, it means the hills. Some 40,000 Palestinians will live here. Homes here cost between $60,000 and $180,000. You can even get a mortgage, once unheard of in these parts. The first two sections, some 650 apartments, are almost sold out.
There's 3 movie theaters, a museum, a library, there's a hotel, there's a convention center. This is Nablus Gate. The one to the west is Jaffa Gate. The one on the other side is Gaza Gate, then Jerusalem Gate.
There's no Tel Aviv Gate.
No, Jaffa's close enough, okay?
It's all political symbolism. This is a Palestinian family holding hands, united to protect the Palestinian flag.
It symbolizes their future, and it's everywhere on trucks, cranes, sending a message to the world and the Jewish settlement of Ateret, about a quarter mile across the valley on land the Palestinians call their own. The settlers here have mixed feelings about their new neighbors.
I hope that they'll have this good city and they'll live there happily, so maybe they won't be so anti and so angry, and maybe they'll also live in peace with us. That's what I hope for and I pray for. But I think that we also should live here without any fear.
Rawabi sits in areas fully or partially under Palestinian control. It's surrounded by land fully controlled by Israel, where many of the resources come from, like water.
At the moment, you're expecting people to move in maybe early next year. When they turn the tap on in their apartment, will there be water?
We're working hard to make sure they have water. If we do not, that will delay the project, obviously.
So far, no permission from Israel to pipe in enough water. Another problem, roads. This is the only access to Rawabi, a narrow 2-lane road suitable for a town of 5,000, not 40,000. So far, no permission from Israel to widen it more or for more access roads. In times of trouble, Israel could close it with a handful of soldiers. No road in or out.
The road issue is a big problem. We have a number of outstanding issues.
The sales video makes Rawabi look fabulous, but so far it's just a shell. They need to attract industry, shopkeepers, build schools, create 5,000 jobs. You'd think the PA, the Palestinian Authority which administers matters in the West Bank, would back such an ambitious venture, but not exactly. Masri carefully chooses his words.
They are supporting.
Supporting financially or morally, or in what way?
Mostly 99.9% morally, hardly financially. So we're building the public schools, we're putting the wastewater treatment plant, the water reservoir, the access roads to the city, which we did not anticipate on when we started the project.
You expected the Palestinian Authority to do it and to pay for it?
Absolutely, this is the right thing.
Some Palestinians, like Parliament member Mustafa Barghouti, think that telling Rawabi only as a success story obscures what he says is the larger Palestinian story of occupation and oppression.
My worry is that there is a certain trend in certain media, encouraged of course mainly by Israel, or those who are connected to Israel, mainly to show things are fine, things are okay, Palestinians are normalizing and accepting the system of occupation, and they even have a new city. That's not true. This is not the real story.
Unemployment in the Palestinian territories is more than 20%. Government salaries are rarely paid on time or in full. Yet in Ramallah, the Palestinian seat of power about 6 miles from the new planned city, there's this mall for the Palestinian middle class, Kentucky Fried Chicken, a well-stocked grocery store, and TV on a loop saying, "Buy in Rawabi, the city of the future."
This is our first time in this. We bought it without even seeing it.
Maher and Abir Abu Mahdi were introduced to us by Rawabi staff. They'll live here with their 7 children. Their 3,000 square foot apartment cost about $170,000, expensive by local standards.
This is all living room, 4 bedrooms, 3 showers, bathrooms.
He's a professor, she has a master's degree and raises their children at home. For them, Rawabi is more than just a town.
Maybe it's my dream when I was kid to live this life. So I did not manage to live this life, so I dream that my children will grow in this life.
And you're fulfilling that dream.
I hope so.
Is that also to show the world that Palestinians are not only about conflict with Israel, it's not about intifada and throwing stones and terrorism. It's not like that. It's also that we have our kids, we are educated, we have a future, and we aim to have our independent state. Our struggle, existence in this land is through such projects.
And that's exactly what Masri thinks too.
It's a sample of the Palestinian state. And the Palestinian state is a big step towards peace.
We came back after a year and a half to check on the project. Now, construction's going great. They say this will be the largest amphitheater in the Middle East. But as far as people moving in is concerned, they're 1 year behind schedule. And the reason is there's no water.
This is the furnished show apartment. It looks grand and impressive, but still no water. For close to a year, Israeli officials could not agree to channel water to Rawabi, which slowed down development here. Then, just a couple of weeks ago, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu cut through the red tape and ordered his government to turn on the tap. So now they're digging, laying pipes to connect the new Palestinian town of Rawabi to Israel's water carrier.
Now we're in a remobilization mode, if you wish, since we got the go-ahead. And we've already informed the residents that they can come in May and do this final settlement and get their apartments.
That's about 1 year late?
That's about 1 year late now because of just the water.
And as for the Abu Mahdi family, when we called them by phone, Maher said he's desperate to move in. His apartment is fully furnished, and as soon as the water's on, he said, he'll be among the first groups of families to move in. That should be by June, if all goes according to the new plan.